What's up, you guys? We're here at the Rocky Mountain Roastery here in Granby, Colorado. There's also one in Fraser. We're going to drop in on my buddy Parks for this video. Let's go. What's up, bro? Oh, nothing, just chilling.
Yeah.
What's up, it's Parks. You've probably recognized him from just about all my work. And this is one of the lovely Rocky Mountain Roasteries in Grand County, and it's awesome. You should check it out, all right? So, without further ado, so this is the back of the Granby Roastery, Rocky Mountain Roastery. And this room, it's the chill room. So when you come get your coffee here, you can chill in this room. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. I'll just show you. Here we are. It's a little nice cozy spot where we can talk about something that gave me kind of a bit of trouble, honestly. And that is, if you're a beginner or if you're anybody that's in the market for a new camera, what camera should you buy and why, right? Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you about what camera I shoot on. I shoot on a Canon EOS Rebel T6i, right? That was an upgrade from an older model Nikon I had, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to shoot video, okay? You're gonna hear why I shoot with what I shoot with, what kind of lens I use later on in this video. So without further ado, let's talk about the first off, the three qualifying questions of what you need to ask yourself before you buy a camera. Now, remember, all of us have a camera pretty much in our pockets right now, and some of us have pretty good cameras in our pockets right now, new iPhones and stuff like that. But those three questions are, first of all, what are you going to be using the camera for? Is this something where you're really trying to get into a new profession and you're really trying to do something to bring in revenue with your artwork, right? Or are you just taking pictures every now and then, family affairs, parties, stuff for social media, little stuff like that, right? Second one, you got to ask yourself how much you're willing to spend. Now, this is unfortunately going to become the common denominator in most ventures when getting a camera, because if you're willing to spend some money, I mean, you can get a camera that pretty much does all the work for you. Some of the new Sonys, the new Canons, even a new Luminex will really, really perform amazingly. But if you're just a beginner and you buy a very, very expensive camera, sure, you're going to have an expensive, nice camera that can sometimes do all the work for you, but you're not going to know really how to use it, right? And it's going to be apparent, and nobody really likes a poser. So maybe you should start off a little smaller, work your way up, even if you do have a lot of money. But I know in my case, it was about affordability and affording the best camera that I could get that took care of my needs that I could. And I've grown from there as far as camera bodies go, as far as lenses, as far as mics, as far as all that. You kind of grow and you get what you can as you can. And as you invest in yourself and your art, the more that you'll see out of it. And the most important thing to me, preference. What do you want? What is going to motivate you to actually get out there and get the shot, to do the video shoot, to do whatever you want to do whatever you need to do, and be capable of doing what you need to do. Because if you get something that feels awkward or is too heavy or you just can't work it, you're not going to use it, and it defeats the purpose. And when you're investing the amount of money that you're probably going to invest in a camera, you definitely want to make sure that it's something that you like. Beyond that, there's 4 types of cameras that you're generally going to see on the market that do 4 different things and cover a wide variety of abilities. Those 4 are compact, bridge, mirrorless, and DSLR. I'm going to tell you a little bit about all those before I tell you what one you should buy and keep no matter what. First off, we're going to start with the compact cameras. These are going to be ones that you're most familiar with. They're small rectangle ones, kind of like this. They're very small, they're compact, right? But because of their small body, they're going to have really small lenses, which means they're going to have a really limited zoom, which is going to affect the aperture. Now, if you don't know what aperture is, subscribe to my channel because there's going to be a whole nother video specifically about this. Now, there are some compact cameras, once again, especially from Sony, that are coming out that have some really great capabilities, you know, and can do some really cool things, but I wouldn't personally suggest them if you were necessarily trying to do more with your art as far as monetarily and professionally. But again, they make some great cameras, but it just, because of the compact size, it just really does end up affecting the performance. Now, the next camera we're going to talk about are the bridge cameras, right? Now, just like the compact, these have a heavy correlation to their name. They're bridge cameras, and they're bridges in between the compact and the mirrorless and the DSLRs, right? So where they're going to have more abilities than the compact, they're going to have less than the mirrorless and the DSLRs. Now, this is because you're going to get a bigger body. They're going to be a little more bulky. Now, the big difference is going to be the lens size, right? The lens size is going to be a lot bigger. You're going to be able to zoom more, but all the lenses are fixed. So you really lack that diversity in being able to change your lens, and with your lens, change the feeling, right? I would definitely recommend this type of camera to anybody who is still on the fence as to what they want to do with their photography or their art. You know, this would not be a camera for anybody that's trying to get into film or cinematography. I don't have too much experience with them handheld, but the experience I do have with them is that they're largely inexpensive and they can perform. You know, the common theme in this video is going to be to shoot what you got. You know, like I said, a lot of cell phones these days will compare to compact cameras, and, you know, it all is going to boil down to you getting out there and getting the shot. So after bridge cameras, we're going to progressively move on to mirrorless cameras. Now, about 5 years ago, I'd say that the mirrorless camera was definitely in second place to the DSLR. But now, if you do some research, I think you're going to see that it's definitely caught up, if not surpassed, the capabilities. But there are some things that still make them different, right? Now, bear with me here, because I'm going to tell you how a camera generally works, or these two. So your image is going to come in through the lens, and on a DSLR, it's going to hit a mirror, and it's going to go up to the viewfinder, and that's where you're going to see what you're looking at. But also, behind that mirror, or next to that mirror, is going to be a sensor. This sensor in DSLRs, it only runs when you're taking a picture or when it needs to be used, which allows quick autofocus. Now, in mirrorless cameras, there's no mirror. Go figure. So the sensor in a mirrorless camera, because it has to project it onto a screen or even up into a screen through a viewfinder, the sensor's always running, which is going to do two main things. The first one, it's going to run your battery out a lot faster than you would with the DSLR that's only using that sensor when it needs it. Okay, the second thing it's going to do is it's going to really affect your autofocus, right? Now, other than that, there's a lot of very comparable even things between the DSLR and the mirrorless camera. I would definitely classify them both as pro photography equipment, though you can find some at pretty low prices that you could use for every day if you really want to. Now, you're going to be able to switch lenses on this, which is, like I said, probably the most important thing in professional photography. Like I said before, I shoot with a T6i, and I was getting really frustrated with the time that I was putting into my photography and the actual results that I was getting from the pictures. post edit. And that's because of the lens, basically. But in my head, I was like, oh, I'll get a new camera body will be good. That's it. I get at that time an 80D, whatever, and that will make things better. Now, I didn't. What I did actually was I ended up getting a piece of L series Canon glass off of my boy Connor Nelson, who I shoot with quite a bit, and that changed the whole complete game. So if you're already in this and you have a camera body that is sufficient, and you're able to change lenses, I would highly suggest maybe looking into some more progressive lenses than just replacing a body, because unfortunately those kit lenses, they just don't work, right? So last but not least, what this is shot on, what I shoot on primarily as of right now, is going to be the DSLR cameras. If you're shooting sports, if you're shooting wildlife, anything professionally, this is going to be what you want to use. And that, again, is my opinion. You're going to get the versatility, right? A DSLR is going to do anything, everything, and more than the cameras that I previously listed. Okay, you're going to be able to switch the lenses. A lot of these you're going to be able to shoot 4K video with, and that is extremely helpful. A lot of music videos, most professional and progressive YouTube videos are shot with DSLR cameras, and there's just a lot that you can do pre-post, to make your creation and your art every day even better. Like I said, this right here is shot on a Canon EOS T6i Rebel with 24 to 105 Canon glass, with a 77mm. So I think it's a pretty good shot. I mean, not bad. I think a lot of it is attributed to the Rocky Mountain Roastery and having a wonderful place where I can come and do this. So again, make sure that you check out the Rocky Mountain Roastery in Granby or Fraser. Come say hi to Libby and Parks, Parker, and the whole Thompson family. Great coffee, great atmosphere. Make sure you do it. So, what's the camera that you should get? The number one. What's the best camera that you could get? The best camera you could get is the camera that you got, right? I did a video, I recorded this before, and I had a big list of 10 cameras for professional photography under $600. And then I thought about it and I was like, you got to get out there and start taking pictures. You invest in yourself, you invest in your work, and that will allow you to progress in the type of technology that you can afford, and that will naturally progress your understanding of photography. And when you're ready to purchase the better equipment, you'll be able to handle it, you'll be able to use it, and it will actually help you, right? So, number one thing is get your camera, whether you got an Arri Alexa, a Sony A7, or an iPhone 11. Get out there and get the shot. I'm Kai Phoenix. See you next time. Oh, most importantly, don't forget to like or subscribe.